fat, sick, weak, diseased, old. I've got absolute control over the first few and no control over getting old. And neither do you, isn't that interesting? We're all getting older by the minute, chronologically older. But can we stay healthy, fit, strong, lean, energetic and keep doing all the things that we want to do? And is it a choice? And of course now we know the answer is yes, because there's some very old people that live on this planet, in this world, that are over the age of 100. They're still working, they're still playing their sport, they're still doing their hobbies, they're still dancing and singing and socialising, they're still making love to their partner, and they've still got great quality of life. So how do you make that happen? And of course it doesn't fall out of the sky in a pretty pink box. They've all got something in common. So if you don't want to end up as an old person, and I'm going to bang on about this on a regular basis because I think we need to be a little bit inspired by not just pleasure of having a great life, but the pain of what happens if you don't do the things that give you a great life. So if you eat too much, you get fat. If you're inactive, you get fat, sick, weak and diseased. If you don't look after your brain, it rots away and you get Alzheimer's and dementia and you feel depressed and anxious and all the horrible brain diseases. And I don't want any of those. How about you? So the things that the old people have in common, old as in being very respectful, they've lived on the planet for over 100 years long, there's one big thing they've got in common. They've got a reason to get up. They've got a purpose. They're still working. They're still socialising with their friends. They've still got a healthy, fit, strong body. And of course, a healthy, fit, strong body requires maintenance. So there's a very special message that goes from your muscles back to your brain, from your brain to the rest of your body, to say if you keep using your body, we're going to have to keep it strong. If you stop using your body, and that's usually what happens to old people, isn't it? They sit down, they stop being active. And I'm sick of hearing it because I hear it every day. Don't run anymore, you should walk. Don't do tough martial arts like judo or taekwondo or kickboxing, you should do tai chi. Don't do a high intense activity class or exercise session, you should do a nice gentle walk. Sit on the couch, relax, take it easy. And of course they're all the things that make you get old really quickly, because it's not just an attitude, it's a physiology. Your brain does exactly what your body is doing. So if your body's constantly active and constantly moving and lifting heavy things and staying fit, your brain says we've got to make sure that you can keep doing that. So we better make sure that those muscles, your heart and lungs, your skeletal system, your immune system, your digestive system all stay really strong so that you can keep getting up and doing the things that you want to do. But if you don't do them anymore, if you stop playing your sport, if you stop doing your hobbies, if you stop doing your work, it's really interesting to watch what happens to retired people. The retirement age of 60 or 65 was based on that's when people died. So it was easy to say, well, we'll pay you a pension at 65 because most people were dead at 65. Well, now because of medication, we live longer. But the medication's not giving us quality of life, is it? If you watch most old people, they literally live like a baby. And I'm going to say it again. Somebody is changing their nappy. Yuck. Somebody's wheeling them around in a wheelchair. Somebody's feeding them with the spoon. I don't want to live my life like that. So I need to have a purpose. And the big thing about the physiology and the psychology of the body and brain together is if you have a purpose, your body's got to stay strong to do it. So what are the things you're going to do for the rest of your life? What do you love doing now, regardless of how old you are? Whether you're 5 or 15 or 25 or 55 or you're 105, do you love dancing? Do you love playing a sport? Do you love doing martial arts? Do you love climbing and hiking and gardening? One of the great things, and this is just a really fun side note and really interesting to take note of, is I've managed health clubs all over the world. That's been my career path. I've worked in gyms, lived in gyms. It's been my life for a very long time. And now as an old lady, I'm fitter and stronger and healthier than I've ever been. And I don't go to the gym. I don't want to go to the gym. And it's a really interesting connection that some of the neuroscientists are studying. If you exercise for no purpose, so if you just go to the gym and run on a treadmill, you go to the gym and lift weights because you want to look good, the human body doesn't comprehend look good. It doesn't care what you look like. It wants to keep you alive so you can go and do the things that you want to do. And if you run on a treadmill in the same place and you're looking at the same thing, your brain says, well, what are we doing this for? Yes, you can burn some calories, and yes, you can burn some fat, and yes, we can keep your heart and lungs fit, but there's no purpose for what you're doing. Isn't that interesting? If you lift heavy weights in the gym, what's the purpose of it? Imagine the hunters and gatherers watching us in the gym and they go, why are those people in the gym and they're running on the spot and they're lifting something heavy, but what for? They're picking up some metal things and putting them back down again. Why aren't they moving them? Why aren't they building something? It's a really interesting concept. So even if your exercise has a purpose, which is why if you're a martial artist or you're a sports person, there's a purpose for your sport because you want to win, you want to grade, you want to get better, you want to keep competing and getting better, which is why when you get old, you don't want to stop competing. At our house, that's a mantra. We live this. You don't get old and stop doing martial arts. You stop doing martial arts and then you'll get old. If you stop kicking and punching, your kicking and punching muscles waste away. If you stop sprinting, your sprinting muscles, your fast twitch muscle fibers, waste away. If you don't use it, you lose it. It's not just a quote, it's the real deal. So if you want to be a healthy, fit, strong person for the rest of your life, and here's where it's really sad. All of the diseases that humans now get, which used to be old people's diseases, osteoporosis, bone thinning disease, sarcopenia, muscle wastage disease, type 2 diabetes used to be called age-onset diabetes, dementia, most cancers, the horrible diseases that are killing the human race that used to happen when you got old because you stopped moving, because you retired. You died really quickly because you retired. You wasted away really quickly because you stopped moving your body. We've now got all of those in young people. I have an orthopedic surgeon that shared with me that he's got advanced osteoporosis in teenagers. Because if you sit down all the time, you take the neck of femur, the top part of your leg, which is where your leg connects to your hip. If you're sitting all the time, your brain literally says, well, we don't need that joint anymore. Let it waste away. The same happens with your brain. If you don't use it, it wastes away. If you don't use if you've got your arm in a plaster, for example, your own brain says, you've got an arm in a plaster, you're not using that arm anymore, let it waste away. And we know that happens because if you take your plaster off your arm, your arm's wasted away. There's a lot of medical professionals now, the real clued in ones that really study the human body carefully, that are saying don't put bodies in plaster. If you've got a broken arm, don't keep it still, keep it moving, isometric contractions. Don't put your foot in a moon boot because sitting, doing nothing, stopping your body from moving where there's no circulation and there's no blood flow to the vital parts, there's no nutrient supply because you've stopped it, because you stopped moving. The connection between the brain and body is so important. If you don't use it, you lose it. You lose your brain power, you lose your body power, you get old really quickly. And I'll share again, we've got children with type 2 diabetes, osteoporosis, horrible cardiovascular diseases. Type 2 diabetes is supposed to be an old person's disease. And I don't believe anybody should get it. And interesting to take note that old people in the world, the ones that are living over 100, they don't have those diseases. And the things they have in common is they are really active, not because they go to the gym and not because they run on a treadmill, but because they're active in their lifestyle. They lift heavy because they work on a farm, or they work in an olive garden, or they have a purpose in their life to look after their family. So they're lifting heavy, whether it be children or grandchildren. And obviously as you lift children, they get heavier and heavier, get stronger and stronger. So lifting with a purpose, getting puffed with a purpose. Obviously food's important, but the only thing that these people have got in common with their food is that they don't eat food that humans have screwed with, or very little. So they eat natural, real food, whether it grows in the ground or runs on the ground. It's the real deal. Wouldn't that be interesting? The whole world eating real food rather than highly processed food full of chemicals. I wonder what would happen to the world. The big one is connection, of course, and that's one of the big things. I'm out here in my puppy dog playground. I have connection with 5 beautiful furry creatures every single day, and I've got a gorgeous husband, and I'm really aware of that connection. So who have you got in your life? Are they adding value to your life? Do they genuinely care about you? Do they love you? 5,000 friends on a social media platform, or 5 million friends, or 500 million friends on a social media platform is not a real connection. The people that live the longest are the ones that have people in their life who genuinely love them, genuinely care about them, and they love them and respect them back. So I get to talk about being old because I'm now an old lady. But when I was 20, I thought that 40 was really old. So if you're 20 and you don't want to be old at 40, get off your backside, get fit, get strong with a purpose. Do something with your life that has a purpose. We've got too many young kids now that stay in bed, pull the covers over their head because they don't have a career or business that they're excited about. All they're taught in school is get a lousy, stinking, rotten job to pay your lousy, stinking, rotten bills. As you can hear in my voice, I'm getting very passionate now. I don't want that for anybody. I bang on about this every day. Be healthy, fit and strong, have a career or business that you love, be financially free so you don't have the stress of where's the next dollar coming from, and only put great people into your inner circle. To me, that is living your life to the max. So whether you are 20, 40, 60, 160, perhaps we're going to live to 160 with power and passion and enthusiasm because we can, because we stay fit and strong and mentally tough. Wouldn't that be a great idea? Live your life to the max with quality, to the max. Woohoo!